Today we are going to discuss knowledge sheet number 183 of Intimate Note to the Sincere Seeker, and that knowledge sheet name is Uncertainty. You can be at ease with uncertainty of the world when you realize certainty of consciousness. People usually do opposite. They get certain about things that are uncertain, and they get uncertain about thing that is certain, that is God. They rely on something that is not reliable and they get upset. Uncertainty causes craving for stability, and most stable thing in the universe is self. Self is of no change. Worldly things is of change. So rely on non-changing and accept that is changing. Uncertainty with ignorance brings tense and worry, tension and worry. Uncertainty with awareness brings higher state of consciousness and smile. When you are certain that everything is uncertain, it means you are liberated. Yes, people think freedom is certainty. But when you feel freedom, when you are not certain, then it is real freedom. Certainty and uncertainty is about relative world. When you are certain about uncertainty of the world, then you get the realization of certainty of absolute, and your faith becomes certain in it. Someone has questioned to Gurudev, can we be enthusiastic and act when things are not certain? Gurudev says yes. In wisdom, you can be enthusiastic and even act when things are not certain. People who are not certain about self, they remain afraid. They don't act, they just sit and wait. So doing act when things are uncertain is make your life challenge game. Agreeing with being in uncertainty is letting go. Yes, so this is something beautiful knowledge sheet. Knowledge sheet number 183, uncertainty. What do you mean by uncertainty? Anything can happen, any isn't it? With anyone or anywhere. Yes, in world you cannot rely or cannot be certain about anything. Anything can happen. So how can we be certain about the things? We cannot be certain about people, the situation, the things around us, on these worldly things, because everything is changing. Change is constant. We cannot be certain. We can be certain about that is something non-changing, isn't it? So that's the thing. But generally it happens opposite. People remain certain about things of world. If you want to be certain about things of world, you will be miserable. You are certain about your boyfriend, you are certain about your girlfriend, you are certain about your parents, your money, your job, isn't it? Your health, your physique, your look, the society, the city you are living in, country. Forget about it. Yes, you will be miserable. But you will be, when you become certain about that is non-changing, that is God, and that is really certain, that is divine, then life become magic. Yes, the God will be remain there always. There will be no heartbreak from side of God, isn't it? That most stable and certain thing of the universe is self, God, consciousness. You can give any name to it. So you have to be certain about it. And when you become certain about this stable, most reliable thing of the universe, self or God, then you can be at ease with uncertainty of the world. That's the thing. Yes. Why people become miserable? They always in tension and worried, because they don't rely on something that is stable. If they rely on that, then they can be 100% ease with uncertainty of the world, because they are not rely on the uncertainty of the world. So if the things go from them or change, that doesn't get shattered up, that change, isn't it? But what happens? People get shattered. Why? Because they rely on something that is changing, isn't it? They rely on people. They think their love towards them will remain same, and one day their love get die. What happens then? People who was relying get shattered, get broke from within, isn't it? So that's the foolishness, by relying on something that is changing. So rely on something that is non-changing. That's the point, isn't it? So what does uncertainty do? Uncertainty brings craving. Uncertainty brings craving for stability. When you are uncertain about the things, isn't it? There will be craving inside you of stability. And where do you get stability? Which is most stable thing in the universe is self. That's the whole point. Yes, the self is of change. Worldly thing is of no change. So Gurudev here saying, rely on that is something non-changing. That is self, is of no change. And worldly thing is changing. So accept the worldly change of worldly things. When you are in acceptance and relying on the non-changing of the self, and you will be happy. Uncertainty with ignorance will make you tense and worried. Yes, a lot of people are tensed and worried. Why? Because uncertainty is there, but ignorance, there is no wisdom. Yes, what is wisdom? Wisdom is what? Being with the certain things. Wisdom is that understanding everything is uncertain in the world. That understanding and becoming certain about it make you liberated right away, isn't it? That's the reason Gurudev says uncertainty with wisdom or with awareness brings you higher state of consciousness and the smile. How you will go into higher state of consciousness, or how when you are going to smile? When you have that awareness about uncertainty, is that everything is uncertain. And you are very certain about it, everything is uncertain. Then you are liberated, that awareness will open the higher consciousness inside and will give you a smile, isn't it? Of course it is. Then people think freedom means what? Certainty is freedom. No, the Gurudev says when you feel freedom, when you are not certain, is real freedom. You are not certain about anything, still you feel freedom. People will ask question, how it is possible? Of course it is. You are not certain about the worldly things, still feeling certain. Why? Because you are certain about yourself, that consciousness, that divinity. That moment you will feel certain. If you are not certain about your job, your money, your boyfriend or girlfriend, your spouse, your children, your family, your home, that moment you're certain about something. What is that? That is self. That moment, that moment When you feel the freedom, that is real freedom. That is what Gurudev is saying, isn't it? So our certainty or uncertainty is about the relative world, isn't it? When you feel certain about uncertainty of world, yes, when you get that awareness, that wisdom get lodged inside you, that I am certain that uncertainty of the world or relative, that moment you get the certainty about absolute. That is self, that is divinity we are talking about. And your faith becomes certain. Yes, when your faith becomes certain, and when you become certain about there is a divinity, there is a God, there is a higher consciousness, there is a self, when moment you get realization that, moment you become certain that everything is uncertain in the relative world, isn't it? Then someone asked question to Gurudev, can we be enthusiastic in this uncertainty? And Guruji says, yes, you can be enthusiastic and you can act also. Yes, in wisdom it is possible. When the wisdom get lodged, get firmly established inside you, that moment you can be enthusiastic and at the same time you can act, isn't it? But people who are not certain about self, they remain afraid, they don't act, they just sit and wait. Yes, but when you are certain about self, the wisdom get lodged inside you, then you can act. And when you can act, life become game. When you can act in uncertainty, life become game and challenge. And the most beautiful sentence is, agreeing to be in uncertainty is letting go. What is letting go? We say, oh, let go the things, let go the things. What is that? Agreeing to be in uncertainty is letting go. Don't you think it is beautiful knowledge? Of course it is. Yes, I hope you got this.